We have the very latest. Plus, could your spring break flight be without a mask? Hear what the White House is saying. And Oklahoma's death penalty is scrutinized in a federal trial. This is OU Nightly. Thanks for joining us for OU Nightly. I'm Audrey Goodson.
And I'm Kaleigh Tingelstad. We begin tonight with new information on Russia's invasion into Ukraine. As citizens of Ukraine flee the country in hopes to save their lives, Russia continues to shell Ukrainian cities, including the city of Mariupol. CNN's Isabel Rosales has the latest.
More than 1 million people so far escaping the violence in Ukraine, according to the United Nations.
Ukrainians are very friendly. We don't want to have war. We don't want to have quarrels with somebody. We want just peace.
This as Russia continues its assault on key Ukrainian cities.
We have continuous shelling for 26 hours. 26 hours they are destroying our city.
Laying siege to Mariupol and tightening its control of Ukraine's south.
We do not have water supply, we do not have sanitary system, and we do not have heating.
One senior U.S. defense official says Russian forces have shown a willingness to hit civilian infrastructure on purpose.
Dozens have been killed, including children and women, and it's a nightmare.
Delegations from the two countries meeting again amid the violence. On the agenda, an immediate ceasefire, armistice, and creating humanitarian corridors for the evacuation of civilians.
It's awful. We are crying all the time. It's a hard situation.
There is no reason for this to be happening right now.
The European Union is now offering them temporary protected status. In Washington, I'm Isabel Rosales.
Europe is trying to help as many of the 1 million refugees as possible, and delegations from both Russia and Ukraine are set to have another meeting.
Oklahoma's method of legal injection is being challenged in federal court. This week, Judge Stephen Friot heard from medical experts and attorneys of current death row inmates who think Oklahoma's method of lethal injection is cruel and unusual. OU Nightly's Zaria Oates is live at the U.S. District Court for the Western District of Oklahoma with more on that ongoing trial.
Oklahoma's method of lethal injection hasn't been consistent over the years, which resulted in a 6-year pause on those executions. Now, Oklahoma has picked those back up since October of 2021, but since then we've had at least one botched execution. I spoke with 2 Oklahoma representatives about what their differing opposing views are on the execution process, alongside video from our partners at News 9. Representative Olson uses the church to back his opinion that the death penalty is just.
Primarily because it is biblical. We see both in the Old and the New Testament references to and support of the death penalty.
But Representative Maury Turner takes an opposing view, citing the double standards of the death penalty.
I'm adamantly opposed to the death penalty. If you are saying that it is improper to kill somebody, and then to kill somebody just feels like a really strange double standard.
Oklahoma's lethal injection's constitutionality is being challenged given multiple botched executions like Clayton Lockett in 2014, who struggled for over 40 minutes after being given a wrong drug in the execution process, and John Grant in 2021, where witnesses say Grant convulsed and vomited several times before dying. But Representative Olson says he doesn't think there's any other way to provide justice for the victims of death row inmates.
I will say that there is no substitute for proper justice for an egregious crime such as premeditated murder, and the proper response to it should be normally the death penalty.
As the lethal injection trial proceeds in Oklahoma City, a mile down the road at the state capitol, Representative John Pfeiffer introduced a bill that would make it harder for death row inmates to get their sentence commuted. Opponents of the bill insist it was introduced in response to Julius Jones' commutation late last year.
I disagreed with Governor Stitt's decision on that. Nonetheless, I feel like he made a mistake, and Mr. Jones should have had the execution carried out.
Representative Turner is currently working on a state question to allow the people of Oklahoma to decide whether or not they want to keep lethal injection or the death penalty at all. Reporting live, Zaria, Oates, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Zaria. An Iowa governor passed a transgender bill that prohibits trans girls from playing women's sports. Jayden and Brannon has that story and the rest of today's headlines from around the world.
Thanks, Kaleigh. The jury in the Breonna Taylor case has reached a verdict. Brent Hankinson, the former police officer charged with 3 counts of wanton endangerment, has been found not guilty. Hankinson participated in a raid of Breonna Taylor's apartment in 2020 that endangered neighbors and resulted in Taylor's death. The ex-officer says he thought they were under attack, but closing arguments from prosecutors doubted what Hankinson thought he saw. The governor of Iowa has signed a bill banning transgender girls from women's sports. Governor Reynolds claims that forcing girls to compete against trans girls is unfair and the opposite of inclusivity. The bill will go into effect immediately, meaning any trans girls playing for a women's team yesterday are no longer able to play.
Iowans matter, they're here, they're not going away, and that this fight is not over.
The bill is likely to face lawsuits from organizations and challenges from the U.S. Department of Justice. Swedish companies IKEA and H&M are pausing company operations in Russia and trade with Belarus. Combined, the two companies are closing 185 stores in Russia. 15,000 IKEA workers are being affected by the shutdown, but as of right now, the company is still planning to pay them. H&M says they care for all colleagues, and the closures come to join those around the world in calling for peace. IKEA is also donating over $22 million to help in humanitarian aid for those that have been forcibly displaced. And a rare Pokemon card was sold for $900,000 at an auction and is the highest priced Pokemon card ever sold. Audrey, back to you.
Thanks, Jaden. It feels like spring has finally sprung here in Norman. Jaden Knowles is live outside to give us a first look at those sunny skies.
And Jaden, are they going to stick around through the rest of the week?
It's a beautiful day in Norman, Oklahoma. As you can see, I'm standing in front of the biz, a little hot, a little overdressed, sweating a little bit in this turtleneck, but hey, that's all right. It's 75 degrees today as your high. The winds are coming from the south at 5 to 10 miles per hour. If you're not doing anything, go ahead and go out and ride a bike, take your girlfriend out on a walk, do something. It's a beautiful day. Don't let it go to waste. We'll have some more updates for you for this weekend. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Jaden. The FDA recalls another baby formula brand.
We'll tell you what brands are impacted up next.
Do you remember your life before the pandemic?
Find out how the White House plans to manage COVID so you can do more things you miss. Straight ahead on OU Nightly.
And a concerning recall on baby formula expands. Ashley Velde has more information in Health Beat.
Ashley, what's the latest?
The FDA says a baby formula recall is expanding following reports of infant illnesses and a second infant death as parents deal with baby formula shortages. Abbott Nutrition's powdered infant baby formula has a bacteria that may be in the products. Some Similac PM6040 formulas are being added to the recall, joining other Similac, Alimentum, and Elecare powdered products. For more information on how to identify the recalled items, go to similacrecall.com. The White House says we might be returning to pre-pandemic life sooner than you think, without having to worry about COVID-19. Pharmacies are preparing test-to-treat initiatives offering free COVID-19 tests and sending you home with FDA-authorized antiviral medicine for free. On top of that, masking while flying expires on March 18th, and the White House is not considering renewal as cases drop and vaccinations continue to rise. Beginning menopause before the age of 40 is linked to a 35% higher risk of developing dementia later on. That's according to a study to be presented this week at the American Heart Association's conference. The connection between early menopause and dementia could have to do with estrogen levels plummeting when a woman starts menopause, causing your brain to age. There are things a woman can do to prevent cognitive decline if she starts menopause early, like staying at a healthy weight, exercising regularly, not smoking or drinking, and taking part in educational activities. And it is World Hearing Day. Some early signs of hearing loss include ringing or other noises in the ear and pain or discomfort. Audrey and Kaleigh, back to you at the desk.
The Oklahoma City Zoo is wild about helping healthcare workers.
Find out how they're giving back straight ahead on OU Nightly.
And with this nice weather, I might have to take a trip to the zoo this weekend. Brady, how are my chances looking?
They're looking pretty good. It's been a warm week here in Oklahoma, but coming up in weather, I am looking at a chance of rain coming up that's going to drop these temperatures. And also, if you've been suffering for allergies, I'll explain why coming up. Welcome back to OU Nightly. My name is Brady Blackstock. It's been a warm week here in Oklahoma. Currently, we're looking at temperatures right here at 78. It's that southerly wind that's been cranking up all day that's been bringing in those warmer than usual temperatures. And across the state, it's been mostly highs in the 70s, but up in the northwest, up in the panhandle, all the way up to 80. Quite unusual for this time of year. Normally, we're seeing temperatures over at 58 or about 15 degrees above normal looking into tomorrow. Still going to be seeing those 70s, but it's that southerly wind that's been kicking up that's got us worried about a fire risk tomorrow. Most of the state of Oklahoma is looking good, but all the way over up in the panhandle, we have a critical fire risk. And as for the rest of the state, these allergies have been really picking up. The tree allergy all the way up in extreme levels, grass, weeds, all higher than normal. That southerly wind coming in, bringing all those pollen up from Texas that might be affecting you when you go outside, because you do want to go outside this weekend because the temperatures are very nice. It's going to be looking nice on Sunday, but then our chance of rain is going to kick up around noon on Sunday. Big rain chances throughout the day on Sunday, but then as we move into Monday, it's going to move out and we're going to get back to clearer skies and colder temperatures. But that's why you're going to want to go out on the weekend. We're going to be warming up into the 70s. Really great early spring weather, but then again, that chance of rain on Sunday that's going to kick up and bring us a lot of colder temperatures throughout the rest of the week. And I don't know about you, but I'm going to want to get outside this weekend, and because it's going to definitely cool down throughout the rest of the week. And we do have another rain chance coming in on Wednesday down the line, but then that rain on Sunday is what's going to make it cooler for the rest of the week. And as far as this weekend, it'll be a good time to get outside. Kaleigh, maybe even take a nice trip to the zoo.
Thanks, Brady. The Oklahoma City Zoo is doing something good for some of its visitors. OU Nightly's Addie Crawford has more on how the OKC Zoo is giving back.
A day at the zoo. Animals, food, and fun. As COVID restrictions begin to loosen, the guests at the OKC Zoo only increase. And just how is the Oklahoma City Zoo repaying those who've helped the most during the pandemic? By offering free admission to all healthcare workers and first responders through the months of February and March. But the perks for these frontline heroes don't stop there. The zoo is offering up to 4 immediate family members half-price admission, 10% off concessions at any zoo restaurant or cafe, and $10 off a membership to the zoo.
We thought this would be a great way to honor these frontline heroes and give them an opportunity to come out to the Oklahoma City Zoo and maybe just enjoy a break from what they've been doing and enjoy some time with friends and family.
The zoo has received over 100 positive reactions to the promotion on Facebook from Oklahoma healthcare workers, first responders, and their families.
A lot of the support that we had received as nurses and healthcare workers at the start of the pandemic has kind of dwindled a little bit. So it's nice to have a new, fresh thing to go do.
In order to get the free admission and discounts, all health workers and emergency first responders have to do is show a valid ID or work badge at the zoo's ticket window. Addie Crawford, OU Nightly.
You can visit the zoo during its new hours every day from 9 to 5 and even see the zoo's new baby elephant born last month.
Well, there are so many great spring sports in action right now.
There really is, but I'm missing football season.
Well, don't you worry, Kaleigh, because believe it or not, football may be closer than you think. Football starts spring practice next week, and women's gym has a top 2 matchup. Sports is next. Welcome back to OU Nightly. My name's Liv Walbeck. Let's talk sports. Spring football practice is kicking off soon. With a significant portion of the OU football coaching staff out the door, first-time head coach Brent Venables had to fill more than half a dozen spots. 3 of the 7 new coaches previously coached with Venables at Clemson, and all 3 will contribute to leading OU's hard-nosed physical defense.
During my 5 years there at Clemson, man, I grew, and a lot of people had a, hand in that. But I was with Coach Venables every day, and I just saw, the way he treated players, the way he pushed the staff, and really wanted some more of that, and had an opportunity, so I couldn't pass it up.
The new coaching staff will be tested on the field on March 22nd for the Sooners' first spring practice. The date of the spring game has yet to be released. And what better way to start off Women's History Month than with a Bedlam dub last night from the OU women's basketball team. The Sooners beat the Oklahoma State Cowgirls 79-76, with senior guard Taylor Robertson leading the way with 19 points. After the game, Robertson said the team really came together to pull this off.
A really good team, and we were just able to fight through it. Even though some things didn't go our way, we were able to just stay true to us and just be us through the whole game, and it worked out.
The Sooners head to Manhattan to take on Kansas State in the last regular season game before the Big 12 tournament. Last time they saw each other, Oklahoma beat K-State 71-69, with Elijah Harkless scoring 21 points. OU is currently ranked number 8 in the Big 12, right ahead of number 9 Kansas State. The upcoming game is set for this Saturday at 3 p.m. And the second-ranked OU women's gymnastics team has a big matchup tomorrow night as they face number 1 ranked Michigan. The Sooners are coming off a recent upset from the University of Florida, but are going into this meet looking for revenge. OU coach KJ Kindler and Michigan coach Bev Plokey are the only active head coaches with a national title, so you won't want to miss this one. The Big 12 Wrestling Championship begins this weekend in Tulsa. The Sooners' recent loss against Oklahoma State was the closest Bedlam match in 9 years. Since then, they've had 2 weeks to prepare to defend their Big 12 title. Let's see if they can do it again. And men's tennis has moved up to the 16th spot in the ITA rankings. After a close match with Baylor last week, they ultimately fell in the last set. The Sooners head to Tucson to take on Arizona tomorrow and Arizona State Sunday. And who knew some smack talk could be motivating? At last night's 76ers game, Tyrese Maxey had a friendly talking to from James Harden. When Harden came up to Maxey at halftime asking if he was going to play at all, Maxey then responded by scoring 21 points in the second half. Goes to show that actions speak louder than words. Audrey and Kaleigh, seems to me like tough luck can go a long way.
Thanks, Liv. For one art teacher, it's been hard to find joy since the Russian invasions began.
So her students planted an idea to bring her an extra boost. Find out how straight ahead on OU Nightly.
I'm Harry Robinson at the OU Nightly Desk with some breaking news. The Biden administration has just announced that immigration relief will be extended to all Ukrainians in the US as a form of humanitarian relief. Some 30,000 Ukrainians on visas are predicted to benefit from this protected status. That's all the breaking news that we have at the moment. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Harry. So many Americans have deep connections to Ukraine and are worried about their safety as the Russian invasion continues.
But sometimes in the worst of moments, we see the best of people.
A Missouri art teacher and Ukraine native was surprised when her students decided to show support by planting a garden of love.
Students filled her classroom with sunflowers, which is Ukraine's national flower, and some hope that she can hold on to.
Brady, I'm starting to make my weekend plans.
Me too. Do you think I could go on a walk or do some other outdoor activities?
Absolutely, as long as you don't have severe allergies, because if you get the red eyes, the runny nose, this pollen report, it looks terrible right now with those southerly winds bringing in an extreme tree pollen issue with grass and weeds right behind it at high. But if you don't suffer from allergies, things are looking good this weekend. We still have those unusually high 70s all the way into Saturday. Perfect time to go out. Make your plans now, but you might want to think twice because on Sunday we do have that rain chance coming in that will then bring in the colder temperatures for the rest of the week. But enjoy this weekend because it's a nice one.
Thanks, Brady. Yeah, I am definitely hoping for this Sunday. rain to push away some of those allergies, because my allergies get really bad during the
I'm
springtime.
gonna need to take a Claritin for sure if I go out on a walk.
Yeah. Audrey, what are you planning on doing this weekend? Do a walk, maybe go to the zoo?
Maybe playing some tennis.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Do a little outdoor activities, you know?
Glad to have that nice weather finally.
For sure.
Well, thank you for joining us for OU Nightly on the campus of the University of Oklahoma.
Make sure to tune in tomorrow live at 4:30. Good night.